insights into this. So this is being brought to us by Varicent, and Varicent has very kindly brought on one of their clients, SCC, one of Europe's largest independent groups. And let me tell you, this is a large operation. They're on a global basis. They got 45 global locations, 2.3 billion pound in sales, large operation, 300 payees. And so what we're going to get to hear from our next speakers is how they go about the process. And this is, again, this automation of the system. Now, Varicent occupies a space in the marketplace, which they're very sharp, smart people. And they have what's called sales performance management. Now, sales performance management is really the bigger picture of not only is it processing compensation programs, but also total reward, also quotas and territories and things like that. And so we're going to hear a case study about how Varicent help their client SCC, which is, again, this very large IT solutions company. Our two speakers will be David Fish. David is with SCC, and he's going to, and the cool thing about David, he's in finance. So it's always great to have a finance person bring their perspective to this discussion. And, he has many projects he's responsible for, but one of them was to get this automation thing correct on this for their 300 payees. And with David will be Matt Blanchard, and Matt is he's with Varicent, and he has many years of experience in managing these software installation and getting their clients up on the Varicent platform to do the administration. And so with that, let's see if we can bring in our guest speakers. All right, gentlemen, welcome, and the show is yours, and please share your knowledge and wisdom with all.
Thanks, David, and thanks for the introduction. So I think good afternoon, firstly, everybody. Some of you may remember myself from a number of the reward events that we've been at in the past, but under a different guise. Effectively, in the past, we would have been known as IBM. Now we are Varicent, back to an independent company that's able to help organizations across the world automate the end-to-end compensation process. So today we're excited, as David's mentioned, to have one of our customers, David Fish, who's one of the project accountants at SCC, who's been through a journey with us, started with a homegrown application and moved to an automated technology with us a couple of years ago. And so from that perspective, we want to make sure that we give you all the information that you require throughout the day. So if there are any questions or any comments that come up, feel free to ask. Myself or David will answer them, depending on how rigorous they are. But first of all, David, welcome, and thank you for being part of this. For everybody that doesn't know SCC, give us a bit of background on who they are and more importantly, yourself.
Okay, yeah, start with SCC. We're like, I'm getting echo here, sorry, Matt. Bit difficult. Yeah, we're leading IT service and solutions business, been around about 45 years, providing leading technology solutions and expertise into the UK's largest commercial and public sector organisations. So we provide everything from across the whole spectrum, from product to cloud, and everything in between. So yeah, it's all about strengthening the digital workplace.
Perfect. And I think as a vendor, we always talk about the benefits that an automated tool can deliver, not just from an administrative perspective, but fundamentally the way in which you can motivate staff and change behavior. I know you have some views on that as well. How did that come across inside of your organization?
Yeah, well, I mean, my background's in finance, so I moved into a finance projects team a few years ago and got the great job of being PM on the ICM implementation, which is why I've ended up here. But yes, my experience, what I've seen with sales commission and how they influence behaviour, it's undoubtedly there's a link. Everybody knows that. I mean, that's kind of why we're here. But you see it in action when you change your plan to emphasise a product line or service solution, and the results change accordingly. So yeah, I mean, it's a definite driver of sales guys, and as a result of that, driving the business. Getting the plans in time in sync with your strategic goals is absolutely crucial.
And I guess for you guys, when we're talking about plans, that can be anybody from, say, the sales guys to the services guys, based off of my experience with you. So it can be quite a challenging environment that you live within. I guess a number of people that may have been at these events may be considering moving to technology, but what were the challenges that SCC were facing in the first place that made them consider even automating the process?
Yeah, we had automated process anyway that was an in-house developed system, but that was starting to show its age. It was, not as flexible as we wanted it to be, and didn't deliver dashboards or reporting. It was a real effort to get any information out of it. So yeah, time was right for us to move to another application. So yeah, we looked at developing the tool maybe, or building a new one, but that just wasn't really practical. So yeah, we started to explore the marketplace and look for an SPM off the shelf, if you like.
Perfect. And I remember many trips up to Birmingham to meet yourself and Julian and come to the offices and meet the team. What made you select Varicent in the end? What was the reasoning behind the decision?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, we did a deep dive into the whole thing. It wasn't a quick decision. We researched the marketplace and asked you guys plenty of questions, and some of your competitors as well. But we I think we shared data with you and our plan structures for you to do a proof of concept to sort of test it and see how it all worked. We spoke to system integrators like OpenSymmetry as well to get a feel for the whole thing. And yeah, we chose Varicent mainly because the flexibility that it offered. It was configure, not code, so you didn't need great technical skills to sort of work with it really. Because it was flexible, we were able to bring in not just the standard sales schemes that you kind of traditionally see. We're able to bring in sort of more the niche sort of commission plans that we tended to operate. What else? In fact, it was secure cloud was exciting to us as well. And at the time, as you said earlier, it was with IBM, and we've got a good relationship with IBM, long relationship with them. So that was undeniably a factor. The security of a big organisation behind the product was important. But since it's moved to Varicent, probably we're a little bit concerned initially when that sort of decision was announced. But we've seen the investment that Varicent have made into the support side of stuff, and the way the product, all the enhancements around the product. So it's been impressive all the way around, really, all the way through the journey.
Yeah, that's something we're really happy with, if I'm being honest, David, because the investment that you see when you come out of a large organization, it is scary for people because they don't necessarily know what the future holds. But I think the fact that now, as a more nimble company, we're able to address quick questions and answers provide the answers quicker, is something that we see as being essential to a partnership. So having been in the space for so many years myself, I guess I've heard results that people have seen through technologies, and we have case studies on our website that talk about the results that each company's seen. What results did SCC see from changing the process to leveraging the Varicent technology?
Yeah, the big, in terms of sales guide, they saw, they went from literally having a rough idea what sales they did and rough idea what commission that would have delivered. We're now giving them daily dashboards to try to make them as real time as possible, so they can see, overnight how their orders are feeding into that, how their pipeline's feeding into that. So for them, that's it's a massive step forward, really. So I think from their point of view, that's one of the biggest things. From our sort of support side of it, I mean, our old system, we've now got Varicent support. We've got a managed service contract with OpenSymmetry, so we've got that structure behind it, so that if there are any issues or whatever, we know that we've got good guys, knowledgeable guys in the backup to support it, rather than frantically searching to try and find some IT to resolve our internal problem, as it tended to be. But it's hard to measure these things, isn't it, really, sort of cause and effect. But we've definitely seen the business has remained strong since ICN's been in. It's gone up. I mean, is it coincidence? I'd like to think not, but who knows? But no, it's good. I mean, it's well received product, and gives a lot of information back into the business.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we see quite frequently. So that desire, even my sales team, they want to understand how they're performing frequently. They want to get answers to their questions immediately. And so having that in one place that they can access quickly really changes the way in which they perceive us as a company, I guess, and effectively enables them to do their job better, which is something I always see as being really valuable, because human capital management, your staff are one of the biggest investments we make as a business. And so therefore we have to make sure we enhance them and protect them across the future.
Exactly. Yeah. They can now see what, how their performance affects their pay. As we spoke earlier, that's such a driver. Now they've got that, the way we've set it up is they can drill down to, order line details. They can check it to that level if they wish. So it's definitely helpful for them.
Perfect. And I think, so from my memory, when we went through this process together, and you made us jump through the hoops of the proof of concept, and it was a journey, and you guys obviously had an objective that you were trying to achieve. Now you're towards the back end of that journey, and now you've achieved effectively the ultimate goal, which is the automated tool that you can be self-sufficient with. What 3 pieces of insight or guidance would you give to people in the audience that would be considering this?
Okay, yeah. First one I'd say was, assess the skills of your comp admin team, because although it's not, you're not coding, you do need database modeling skills are, I think, useful to get a good understanding of the build, so you can self-serve yourself as much as possible in terms of fixing problems, and also with the, as you go through implementation, all the testing and stuff like that, and also offer feedback to the developers and whatever, so that they can build the model for you. As with all systems, you need good data in, otherwise you're going to get rubbish out, and having strong data structures and making sure they're as clean as possible and everything's right first time, absolutely crucial. Otherwise you're just running around always playing catch up. So that was good. And final thing I'd say is make sure you're reporting your dashboards, you've got those requirements sort of nailed down up front, because the whole build and implementation is working towards that goal. So if you haven't got that agreed and where you want it to be, you could have problems further down the line when you try to deliver that. You just, the model's not giving you the information you need to be able to support those.
No, agreed. And that's some really good insight, actually. And that governance when it comes to reporting is really important, especially when you're managing so many different areas of the business that want to have an input in it, because each sales manager has a different view of what's essential. Each different executive has a different view. So I guess making sure you've got those parameters of control in place that doesn't elongate things is really important and critical across all projects, based on our experience anyway. I guess.
Yeah. So carry on.
No, that's fine. I guess you've started the journey. You've got to a point now where people have access to reports daily. You're automating it. You're able to manage it yourself. What's next? Because you're a big organization, as David mentioned at the beginning. What's next for you as a business?
Yeah, it's definitely, the product's not in and forgotten about or whatever. It's an ongoing development and enhancement exercise. So we've got a number of next steps. So the main one is we're generating out of it. Like I said, we go down to order line details. So we're producing a lot of information, and we're continually looking to enhance our reporting off the back of that and our data analysis. So, Varicent have introduced a number of new sort of reporting offerings that we're keen to exploit. We're working through a project right now. We've also got some internal data cube technology that we'd like to, that we're feeding the information in to get the reporting out. So that's the main one, really. We've done all this work, we're creating all this data. Let's start using it to drive the business and the commission schemes in the right way to drive the business. There's Varicent offer a mobile app, so we haven't used that. We want to roll that out. I mean, everyone uses their devices these days to access information, so that's really where we need to be. So keen to get on that journey. There's still some areas of the business that we haven't brought onto ICM. There's sort of divisions or companies that we've acquired, and their schemes that don't quite match how we capture our data. So again, once we get that data right, we'll bring those guys on. Then we can have sort of full reporting of all orders rather than a few gaps we've got at the moment. And finally, yeah, I mean, we're using Varicent to deliver the information from our overnight invoicing runs into our CRM each morning. So it's a continual battle of optimization to try and get our calcs run as quickly as possible, so we can get the information out to the business as quickly as possible. So that's not really a commission sort of thing, but we're using it as a tool because it's strong in that way to help populate all our dashboard CRM dashboards, pipelines, and that sort of stuff.
That makes perfect sense. And so I guess a question for you. You mentioned different business groups that are either on the technology or off.
Yeah.
There's this traditional view that whenever people talk about sales performance management, it only touches the salesperson. But in my experience, I have contact center staff at some of the largest credit card consumers in the world. I have engineers from utilities companies. I have direct and indirect people across different organizations. From an SCC perspective, what job roles are you really considering as part of this? And is it just sales incentives or is it bonuses as well?
Oh no, it's definitely bonus. So it's definitely bonuses as well. And we're looking at bringing on everybody who's paid commission or bonus. So I mean, that is predominantly the sales guys, but for example, like some of the credit control team get bonuses and stuff like that in terms of debt they collect and whatever. So we're looking at moving those ultimately onto ICM as well. It's flexible. That's the key to it. And if you've got the data, you can build it to control and drive that sort of activity, really.
Perfect. No, that's really useful because, like I say, it's a common misconception whenever people talk about sales performance management. It's only about the seller, but I think as a company, we look at it in a broader sense. It doesn't necessarily matter who or what role you are to an organization. If you're being paid some form of bonus, commission, long-term incentive, you can leverage the technology to do that. But it's reliant on the data that you have to support that. So just as you mentioned there, the data is critical to making sure that the project's a success. Governance to support that as an organization is critical. But then finally, making sure that the adoption's really utilized in a way. And I know it's not something that we've discussed recently, but how did you guys drive adoption across the sales team to turn this on? Because I know from deploying our own technology inside of our own business, sometimes getting people to trust what's there is difficult. How did you deliver that?
Yeah, well, communication's the key, isn't it, really? So when sales get their plans, there'll be an element in there advising them that this product's there. I mean, new starters sort of thing. There's links to ICM on the intranet, on the key pages that everybody uses. We built some training documentation and training videos to sort of that people can access whenever they want to sort of guide through it. And despite all of that, it's still word of mouth is still a massive thing. Colleagues speaking to each other, managers speaking to new starters and telling them that guys, you need to be using this. It's there for your benefit, and it's not you can help use it to do your job a lot better. I mean, one thing I didn't mention is we have charts in there analysing everybody's sort of unpaid invoicing that they can chase. That can really they can drill down into that to target which accounts they need to hurry up on the payments so that they can close those deals down to get their full pay out of it. So it's a useful tool. I mean, just had a call earlier actually where people said new starters aren't being made aware that this system exists. It's like, what's going on? Come on, boys. So we're coming up with plans to actually refocus new starters and managers to let the new starters know that ICM's there. Let's use it.
Fantastic. Well, that's been some really useful insight, and thanks very much for taking the time to share your knowledge and experience with us today, David, because I know it's not always easy and it's difficult to get approval internally as well, so thank you.
It was, yeah.
So thanks. So we'll check if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. We're more than happy to do so. But just to kind of reinforce what David said. So if anybody on side of this session is preparing to embark on a move of technology, or even considering just what the impact will be, feel free to reach out to David and myself. We also have people inside of the virtual booth where we're giving away 5 £100 Amazon vouchers. So feel free to come along and have a look and meet some of the team to ask any more questions. But fundamentally, we as a business are here to help you. So whether it be you're in your early stages and you're looking to build a business case, we've been through this a number of occasions. We can continue to support you, leveraging the experience that we already have. Whether you're considering technology and you have a specific use case that you want to see work, come and have a conversation with our team. We're more than happy to run through how an automated tool can make your life easier. And more importantly, engage your biggest population, which is your sellers. And finally, we're here to provide you with references like David as to why the move has been as successful as it has been, and share the knowledge that we do. So not just here today, by becoming a customer of Varicent, we also have customer forums. We allow you to share as a community, and that's what we're looking to do now by making sure that we provide you with the best technology, but also the best community to work alongside. So any questions anybody has, feel free to go to the virtual booth. Feel free to reach out to David and myself, but thank you all for today.
Well, thank you, David, and thank you, Matt. That was very, very informative. I just have one quick question for you guys. There's the need to have, I would say, great reporting and issuing checks and audit trails. David, did you actually see changes in sales performance themselves? I have a theory that more data, people will self-correct and they'll start to figure out how to do the right things. Have you seen that type of evidence, David?
That's a difficult one, really. No, well, I mean, sales are definitely all over it. I mean, like I said earlier, we've got drilled down to order line level, so they're using the system, they're digging that deep, and if they are finding issues, they are certainly letting us know about them. So,
well, gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Great, interesting case study, and David, sounds like you've done a wonderful job, and Matt, nice guidance to SCC in terms of getting up on a system. All right, thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
All righty. So, we're about to come up on a break, and what I'd like to do though is just make kind of a comment about ICM systems or SPM systems, and that is, people would ask me, and I have a background in the psychology of motivation. Why do humans do what they do? Well, there's a lot of things, but one thing is they respond to measurement, and having a measurement system allows people to say, hey, I'm either doing good or I'm not doing good. And so having data available is super important. Now, if you all have this experience where you don't have a system and you have a spreadsheet with little tabs along the bottom of everybody's name, that's a great administration system, but it's not a measurement system. So, I'm always looking for how can I communicate with the sales force about what's important, and measurement systems such as our friends in the SPM community can provide. So thanks very much to Varicent and SCC, Matt and David. Okay, so we're going to take what's going to be, let's go visit the Expo Center, a 10-minute break. Okay, so we're going to begin right now in a few minutes, and we're going to be returning at the 35-minute mark. And since you're all over the world, I'm not going to say what time it is in London. Well, it is. It's you'll be coming up on the time frame of 2:35. So at 2:35, we'll have another nice presentation by Becom, and then we'll continue with our day. So why don't you take this time? Of course, if you need to take a break, please to do that. But it's also a good time to get registered over in those expo booths for the drawings that the folks are going to be having. And we'll see you back at the 35-minute mark. Okay, thank you.